questions you may have.
Rich, I don't believe in curses or jinx, so I feel okay asking this, but the kind of groove that Brandon and the kicking operation is in, have you seen anything like this before? I mean, they haven't missed.
Sounds like three-part question. So the first part, fortunately, I've been around really good kickers. I've been a part of this. The second part is we're real excited about the battery we have, coming back all together, snapper, holder, kicker, and then certainly what Waylon's been doing, improving in his ability to punt the football. And then the third part is, when Brandon and I talk about it, I know you guys have mentioned it a bunch, he's like, just try to remind them that, you guys are paying me to come here and make field goals, not miss them. So, but a compliment to him, certainly. I think he's gotten himself in tremendous physical condition. He came back. I tried to explain to him, if you come back at like age 22, you got a long time to keep playing. And I think he did a really good job of getting himself in good physical condition. He's confident in the battery. We've talked about him, how particular he is, and I think they really work well together. They're certainly complementing each other in the way that they're practicing.
With that field goal operation, can you tell a noticeable difference now that they've had last season and the offseason working together, just in terms of how that operation unfolds?
Well, yeah, I think towards the end of the year, it got really, it was well done by all of them. Yeah, I think, we had an off season of a lot of holds, a lot of snaps, and then Brandon was here for the majority of the off season OTAs, and he was here for the mandatory mini camp. So I think to your question, yes, they work hard at it. There's a lot of drills that we do, a lot of drills that they do on their own. Even at night when we're in the walkthrough process, they're doing stuff in there as well. So they take a lot of pride in the battery and hopefully to continue to improve.
How have you seen Daniel kind of develop as a holder? Because it just seems like he's automatic with handling everything thrown at him.
Well, I think it's the tedious repetition of the simplest movement, right? It looks simple to most people, but the constant repetitions of that, how many times he actually does it, not only in the course of a day, but I know when he first got here, he was doing it in the hallway at the hotel, so it's something that he's really diligent at working at over and over and over again, and to some degree he's gotten pretty proficient with it, but there's still always going to be room for improvement, right? His job is to make the kicker right. His job is to make the snapper right, because when the snapper's got 200-300 pounders coming in those A gaps, it makes that job a little bit more problematic, but he's done a heck of a job of making both of those guys right.
Rich, what did you see from Isaiah Simmons on special teams in New York, and where do you think he could help you here?
I don't know if you remember, he blocked that big field goal for a touchdown for them. And then, going back to Isaiah in Clemson, we did him coming out. He's extremely athletic. He's got great size. He's got great speed. We're asking him to do some things in the kicking game that he has not done before. He's been willing to do anything and everything that we've asked him to do. He's been a great teammate to this point. So we're trying to put him in position to do what he does well to help us in the kicking game. And that's really what we're trying to do with all of them. But he's got a certain skill set because of his height and his speed. We're going to try to put him in a position where hopefully he can help. But he's been great since he's been here.
When you say kicking game, are you referring to like kick, field goal?
Referring to all four phases, yeah.
We're just getting back to Daniel for a second. Do you see him still getting better here right now? And if so, in what ways are you seeing him still?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. His ability to get the ball out of his hand a little bit quicker. I think he's done a tremendous amount of work in the offseason. He stays in San Diego. He's with Nick Novak for a long time, who Nick has been with us in the past as a kicker. And I get a bunch of videos from Danny during the course of the summer. So he's been getting the ball out of his hand. He's worked really hard on his footwork with his directional punts. And then some situational football. It's going into year 3 for him, so he should get better at that as well. So, yeah, we're excited the direction he's going.
Rich, what have been,
Go ahead.
just what have been your thoughts on Bo Melton and just, what he's doing for special teams while also, getting used to playing?
Yeah, 16 green, man. He's still Bo Melton. He's fast. He's got a smile on his face. He's got an incredible attitude. No matter what you ask him to do, we think he's going to become an elite special teams player. He was big for us a year ago. So he's really just the ultimate team player right now, doing anything he's asked to do. He's doing it with a smile on his face, a lot of love for it in his heart, and he's doing it quickly and physically. So we're excited about Bo as well.
Rich, how important is he to what you guys do? I mean, a lot of times when guys move positions in this league, it's a move that's an intermediate move to them not being on a roster anymore. It doesn't feel like that's the case with him.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when he has to play the flyer outside for us, he's expected to make a tackle. And when he plays the 2 or the 4 for us on kickoff, he's expected to make a tackle. So for him, flipping over and playing corner now, the tackling part, he's kind of head down, right? He's in all the tackling drills that we do. Obviously, he's working on the skill set and the techniques and the fundamentals you need to play the different coverages and the different things that they want on defense. But I think because of the makeup of Bo Melton, who he is and his personality, his attitude, the transition has become not easy, but just acceptable. And in his mind, he's going to get better every day. You know, I think if you ask him, he did a lot of work with his brother, you know, in the offseason because he knew this could possibly happen. He played both sides in the spring. So we're excited that we have him, regardless of what side of the ball he's on, and he's going to be an impact on our team.
What do you think Matthew Golden could become as a punt returner if he's asked to do that for you?
Well, you know, it's early, but we all loved him coming out, obviously, where we took him, and a tremendous skill set for him. So he's a guy that's also improving in both. You know, he was the backup punt returner at Texas and didn't do it as much in games, but he's done it before, and he's been a kick returner in his past. So we're hoping to get some of those things out of him as well.
Kind of along those lines, given the importance of Keyshawn and Jaden on offense and defense, what could Hardman give you in that role if you decide to go away from those 2 guys?
Well, obviously, you know, Goody went and got Hardman for a reason. He's got a lot of experience in the National Football League. He's done both. He's returned punts and returned kicks. He's scored at it. So there's not a lot of guys under the age of 30 walking around with 3 Super Bowl rings. So he's been a surprise in training camp. He's come back in great physical condition. He's trying to do everything we ask him to do the way we want him to do it. He's been a help to me. We've had conversations about different things in the return game. So we're excited about the direction he's going in, but it's early in camp. We'll see how it works out.
Working on with him after practice, it seems interesting that there's a really accomplished returner, but you guys are out there like after practice almost every day.
Well, again, you know, we're all being paid to do a job, and we're going to use all the time that we possibly have to improve. And I'm trying to be better today than I was yesterday, and I think the players are trying to do the same thing.
What are some of those other nuances you might look for?
Can you say that a little louder, please?
What are some of those other nuances you might look for in a return man besides obviously fielding it, the big playmaking potential?
You know, sometimes the number one trait is guys that want to do it, you know, and they have to understand when you go back there, the number one decision you have to make is a decision for the team. And so that's a big part of the process. But, you know, there's an aptitude to some degree for playing back there. And you know, the guys that we have right now that are working back there, for the most part, have all done it. So we'll see where that goes. But we're excited about the amount of, you know, people that we have working back there.
This is more of a Keyshawn Nixon question than a special teams question, but
There's no way we'd get through one of these without a Keyshawn Nixon.
well, he's going to be asked to, like he was last year, consistently play outside corner. You have to have a certain kind of mindset to do that, to go up against top receivers. You've known him longer than anyone. What about his makeup, his mentality, maybe suits him well for that kind of role?
Yeah, again, you know, I think we're going into year 7 together, and I think he's constantly maturing in every facet of his life. You know, I think most of you know his mom's been going through, you know, cancer and cancer treatment, and she just had a really big surgery, and so he's got things that are going on off the field that he does a good job with, and when he comes here, you know, he likes to have conversations about CB1 and all those things, and he's been a tremendous kick returner, and he's an elite, you know, flyer for us when he first got here on punt. So I don't think there's anything he can't do and do really well because of his mindset. Now, he will take a left-hand turn every now and then or take a right-hand turn every now and then, but, you know, most young people do that. And so to answer your question, there's never been a roof on Keyshawn Nixon. There's never been a ceiling for him. So I think our expectations are he's going to get better every single day at whatever he's asked to do, and then he's going to end up becoming, you know, hopefully an elite player at all skill sets that he has and that what we're asking him to do. So we're always pulling for Keyshawn.
Hey, Rich, you've done this for a long time. You've been a head coach before. Goody was talking yesterday about how you guys want to be a specific type of team and physicality is part of it. You know Nate Hobbs from your time with the Raiders. What has the first weekend change been like with the physicality and finding the line between trying to become the team you guys want to be physically and taking care of each other? Because I don't remember a time where it's been a little bit of a struggle to find that line like this.
Yeah, I think it has to start with, Coach LaFleur. I think we sit down, we watch the film of every game last year. We all go through, what are our pluses, what are our minuses, and how we can improve, obviously, as a team. And I think, what Coach has done and what he's instituted is, how we're going to practice and the physicality in which we're going to practice. Now, we're going to do that within the realm of the rules and in the realm of taking care of each other. But we are in training camp. It was very early in pads. Things get a little bit chippy. And so I think we would rather have to pull back. I think every coach would probably say that than have to push, right? And I think that's where yesterday led us to as the day went on. And I compliment Coach and the way he's pushed us in the offseason to look at things that we need to get better at, and each position for us and each group for us, how we can all get better. And I think yesterday was a little bit of what we want it to look like. And, at the end, Coach let them know where the line was and when we crossed the line and what the next padded practice should look like. So I compliment Coach and the way he approached it with us in the offseason to start with. And now the mentality for us is we got to help his vision, come true in practice so that the games can be a little bit different, leaning towards our side.
Sounds good.
Good. Thanks, guys. All right, good to see y'all.
Yeah, obviously, giving him an opportunity to learn the offense, learn the concepts from the ground up, I think that's super valuable for him. Big thing, just working on his reads with his feet and just making sure he's on time with everything. I think that's the biggest thing as far as throwing with him. And then, yeah, just going out there and operating the offense. He's done a pretty good job of that so far.
The easy question would be how far he's come in a year, but he came in last year in 3 weeks and won you a game. So I imagine he started at a pretty good place. Like, what is the difference between where he was and now?
Yeah, I think just knowing the offense, the concepts in the passing game, and kind of, when he came in, it was like, all right, what do you like to do? What are your best skill sets? And then we just tried to enhance that when he was in the game. So now it's, all right, just learn it all. And then we can kind of see, what you're comfortable with, the stuff he wasn't really even exposed to when he showed up.
How was Golden grasping the offense? It's been very clear he can make plays.
Yeah, no, he's done a really good job. He reminds me of a lot of the wide receivers from a couple years ago that we had. Just a really hardworking guy, very diligent, doing everything that he can do off the field to just be prepared for practice. And you just really respect his work ethic so far. And I think that's going to go far in allowing him to, just play fast when his opportunity's called.
Which receivers in particular were you talking about there, Steno?
Just like, Christian, Romeo, all those guys when they were young, yeah, when they came in, they were just really hard workers. He reminds me a lot of them.
Do you have any feel at all for Savion Williams yet? I mean, he missed, I guess he was limited through the offseason. Now he's obviously
Not a lot yet. Obviously, we got a ways to go, and I'm excited to get him in there. He's made some plays, and you can see he's got a really good skill set. Obviously, his size and speed is pretty impressive. So I think we're just kind of going to be patient, and hopefully we can get him out there soon and just work him in and get him his reps and see what he's all about.
Where do you think Jordan Morgan is at now that he's had a stretch of good health to put some tape on the field?
I like what I'm seeing from Jordan, and he's competing, at the tackle spot and at the guard spot, and he's looking pretty solid. So we're going to have a lot of interesting choices up front, not only with him but with a bunch of guys, because they're all competing really hard and doing a good job. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how this all shakes out for sure.
Steno, now that you've got Elton back, what's kind of the plan for how you want to get Jordan opportunities at those spots to compete? Because the first couple days, I don't think he got to be a left tackle at all.
Yeah, we were kind of limited, with Banks being out and Elton being out. We had to focus him more at guard. But yeah, we're going to work him in at tackle as much as possible just to get some competition out there on the left side, and then, yeah, just see how it goes. But again, I'm really excited from what he's shown on tape from both positions, guard and tackle.
Other than putting JJ in the ground yesterday, how do you think Sheed has responded?
Good. I mean, he's had a really good camp. There's a lot of stuff we wanted to work with him in the off season, and you could tell he made a conscious effort to come back, and he was in great shape. He looked great. He's playing hard, and he's competing, and I think he's doing a really good job. So yeah, I think he's doing. He's responded well for sure.
What's the plan with Belton? So he's played a lot of left and
You
right.
say Belton or Elton? Okay.
What?
Melton.
Oh, Melton.
No.
No, Belton.
All these. Got to get
Number
nicknames for these guys.
71.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know you've had him at tackle both positions. Is that what you want to continue to do? Do you want to take a look at him at guard at some point?
I think right now we want to keep him at tackle. He's a big guy. I like his feet. He's got a ways to go, but I think he has the ability to play tackle in the NFL. And so we're just going to work him out there and kind of see where it goes from there.
There aren't a lot of offenses across the league that really feature a tight end as that number one. You have a guy in Tucker, obviously, that might have the ability to kind of do that. But schematically, with where you guys are, is this offense kind of set up to allow for that, or do you prefer that to be a perimeter guy that really is more featured?
Yeah, no, I think our offense can feature, pretty much anybody. We have the versatility to do that with kind of how we do things. We kind of like to keep it as even as possible, just so defenses can't really, take something away that you're really relying. You'll be able to have answers for all the things that they can present for you. But yeah, Tux, he's a playmaker. Anytime we can get the ball in his hands, I think good things happen. So, but we do have the ability to, try and feature him if we can.
What do you need to see from Luke Musgrave this camp?
I think with him, obviously, just being out there playing, I'd like him to take a step forward in the run game, and I think he's done a really nice job so far. And then just, his playmaking ability in the passing game. He's got stuff to work on, but again, he's got a great skill set that, I'm really excited to get him out there and just have him and Tucker on the field at the same time. I think that's really going to help us.
Speaking of Luke, what happened yesterday on that play where he looks like he's doing some kind of shallow cross and Jordan throws and it's incomplete and Jordan was doing one of these afterwards? Is that just not seeing the same thing?
Yeah, it was a man zone read and they just weren't on the same page with that. And that's the stuff that happens in camp, when you're putting in these new concepts and things like that. And I think, again, having Musgrave out there with Jordan and just getting them on the same page is going to be very valuable.
Last year we saw Zach Tom, he missed all the time with a really bad injury, got himself ready to play week 1. He ends up playing 3rd in the all-pro voting at right tackle. With him having a whole healthy off-season, knock on wood, healthy training camp, can he be even better than he's been?
Yeah, I anticipate Zach being a great player for us. He works hard. He's very diligent with how he prepares, getting his body right, studying film and things like that. So, and also being a good leader in the offensive line room. So I'm really excited for Zach for sure.
What's the challenge for Alton in this transition, or is there really not one?
No, I think the biggest thing, he has experience playing center. So it's just getting out there with Jordan, making sure he's out there with the O-line, making calls, everyone's on the same page, working combinations with the guards and stuff like that. That's going to be the biggest thing. I'm not worried about, is he ready to play or not or anything like that. It's just basically when you're the center, you just have to make sure everyone's on the same page with the communication and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be big, as he progresses and gets out there more, that we just get on the same page.
Coming off of last year with Malik Heath and heading into year 3, what do you guys want to see from him through these practices and preseason?
Just keep doing what he's doing. He's competing, he's making plays, and just being a consistent wide receiver in the run and pass game. I think that's the biggest thing with him.
Depending on which nerd stat service you look at, you guys were at the top of the league or near the top in max protect last year as far as keeping guys in. Is that something that was, a byproduct of Jordan being a little off as far as the health goes, knee and everything? And would you like to get more guys out in the routes?
Yeah, I think so. I think you always want to get guys out as much as possible. But I think that also speaks in the confidence in your wide receivers as well, that they can get open, So it's kind of a little bit of both worlds. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but.
Steno, on the whole, how do you think your guys have caught the ball after, having some drop issues last year?
Pretty good, yeah. I would say things are going well so far, so thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, no, things are all right. Can always get better though, that's for sure.
Would you like Jordan to run a little bit more? Not like design runs, but like when he's in the pocket.
Absolutely, yeah. Anytime you get an opportunity to, escape the pocket or the defense gives you a rush lane to run through, in a drop back pass, I think that's a huge weapon. And Jordan has that ability to make some big plays down the field. So, yeah, and we encourage that for sure.
He made it clear yesterday. He feels so much better, in moving around, extending the play.
Yeah.
And they must just pop off the tape and watch these.
Yeah, no, he definitely is playing with a lot of confidence right now, and I'm excited about that. So, yeah, we just got to keep going, keep improving, and yeah, see how it goes.
Hey, Steno, sorry. The touchdown he threw the other day to Wicks, where there was kind of pressure, and we were talking to him yesterday about that, and since he got here, it seems like that's one of the things he does really well, is those subtle movements in the pocket to create space. Obviously, Aaron did that as well. But how important of a piece of his game is that? Because his sack numbers it seems like he's really good at it.
Yeah, that's one thing, like you said, he's very good at. And I think his just personality, he's calm in the pocket. He's a calm guy. He's not going to get rattled. He's able to make incredible throws when he's about to get hit. Things like that I think is one of the special things about him as a quarterback. So, yeah, it's impressive to watch, and I think he's shown, so far this camp, his ability to keep that going.
You know, we've spent a lot of time talking about physicality this camp. I'm curious for your guys, especially up front. Was there an off-season feeling of, after the way things went in Philly or the way Detroit plays, we need to be more physical?
Yeah, I think, anytime, you get to those playoffs, you get to that position, however you are, where you're at is going to get exposed. And I think that's one thing we talked about, and one thing, we're going to focus on is making sure we're the most physical football team on the field when we go out there and play. That's going to be a big thing for us. So, yes.
Steno, obviously part of the reason you started Jordan Morgan at right guard last year was because you thought he had the best chance to start there.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Ryan was saying that, he wasn't saying he has the job locked up, but he was saying it's reassuring that they're playing Jordan, at left tackle because it shows some more faith in me at right guard. Have you seen enough from Sean Ryan to say, he's comfortably got that spot, and if so, what?
No, I wouldn't say I've seen enough from,
him
I'd say I like what Sean's doing. I'm glad he's getting some center reps as well, just, to work on that position in case he has to go there at some point in the season. But I wouldn't say any of these guys have anything locked up right now. And I think that's one thing that is good about where we're at, because the competitiveness is going to bring out the best in everybody every day. So, yeah, I don't know how it's going to shake out up front, but I am excited about just the possibilities and the options that we have for sure.
When is that point where you would like to know how that's going to shake out, just so that you can get ready for the season, week 1?
I like the way we've been. This thing, again, it might go into the season. Like, we've rotated guys. We played Sean and John Runyon, they split reps, things like that, where it's like, if we think these guys are good enough to be starters and we just rotate guys, I'm comfortable with that. I really don't care. So we might have, 6 or 7 guys playing in a game consistently. So, yeah, again, we've got to see how it goes.
We asked Matt a lot of questions after the season about play action, and I know there's different ways to define it, but with as much as you ran out of gun, and with what obviously Jacobs likes with running too low and stuff, has that been something that you've been trying to kind of this off season and now going to camp, figure out exactly what the best mix is to do, right?
Yeah, I think that's one part of that emphasis, yes, is, coming up with stuff that off our run game and everything like that marries, and also just working on the stuff that maybe Josh needs work on, outside zone or whatever it may be, just getting reps at that to, just move along in that direction too. So it's kind of part of both worlds there on that.
Good. Thank
Cool.
you guys.
Thanks, guys. See you.
he said, you know, we might go into the season where our offensive line, we may use 6 or 7 guys like they did last year, rotating a guard. And I asked you this question last year, you know, do you see that often? I think you said, not a lot. But if that does happen, what's that for your guys in terms of either bringing in a fresh guy on the offensive line or how you game plan for that?
I don't think it does very much. I mean, we rotate the D-line constantly, as you see. We try to keep them fresh. So if he's going to rotate offensive linemen or someone's going to rotate offensive linemen, I guess you could, just thinking through your question, I guess you could kind of look at it and, you know, they're running certain plays when these guys are in, or is this guy going to pull? Is this guy on the left? And they like to pull him, so we're going to get, you know, gap scheme this way. I mean, you try to look for tendencies, but besides that, I really don't know how much it would do.
Isaiah Simmons is a pretty impressive athlete. Now that the pads are on, what do you think he can get to your defense?
It's early, right? And what we've tried to do with him is put him at one position. He's in there every day. He's learning how to play linebacker. He's going through the individual drills as a linebacker. So from a fundamental and technique standpoint, I think what you're seeing is he's focusing on doing one thing. And I think for him, it's getting better every day. It's his physicality. It's his understanding of the defense. It's him setting edges. It's him playing in coverage. You know, how quickly he can pick everything up and how quickly he can get everything down will determine how much we can really do with him. But I think he's off to a really good start. He's a great teammate. He brings great energy. Obviously, he has great physical tools. Our job is to develop him, right, within our scheme and then try to maximize what he can do and help us win games this year. He's in a good spot, and I'm excited for the preseason games and these practices that are coming up to see what he can do.
Jeff, what's different, if anything, about Lucas Van Ness this camp?
He's a year older. He's got another year in his scheme. I think he's starting to understand the position. You know, how to use his hands, how to set edges, some pass rush tools, some counter moves. You know, I think it was a good offseason for him, truthfully. I think he had a really good, you know, he did a good job at OTAs. And then I think he left here and he put in a lot of work. He came back in really good shape. He's healthy. I just think he's a year older, and it's another year in the scheme for him where I think he's starting to feel comfortable. I think DeMarcus has done a really good job with him and that entire group. But again, it's still early, so I think there's a lot of excitement for every team right now and every staff right now to see how much better their players have gotten. And I think we're one of those teams that's excited to see him as we get, you know, as we get into these preseason games and more practices.
Hey, Jeff, when we talked to you in May, you had we were talking about last year, how well it went, and you said, we need to evolve. We can't just do the same thing and say, here's the playbook and this is what we're running. So without giving the Lions the playbook for now, how much more stuff have you been able to do? And how do you walk the line between, hey, this is who we are, and this is who we didn't necessarily get to be last year because of some of the challenges, and here's the new stuff that we want?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question, and it's actually something we were talking about right now before I just ran over here. Last year during this time, we were totally figuring out who we were going to be. And we're going to be a 4-down front. We're going to play a lot of over defense with a 9 technique. We're going to play a lot of middle close coverage. What were we going to do? And then we evolved when we figured out who we had, what we were good at, who we were playing, and we kind of built it as we went, right? And as I looked back into, because you go back when you get in the training camp and you figure, all right, these are the install days, these are the practices that Matt has set up, and this is how we're going to do our install. Well, our install, like, from last year to this year, you would think we have a new defensive coordinator from what we put in last year at this time to what we ended the year. So the beauty of it right now is we have a strong foundation, and that install is almost done after 6 practices. So now it's the tweaking. Now it's getting better. Now it's evolving as we see, oh, I like this pressure, but hey, anyone else think we can do this and this off of it? So now we can kind of build. And what we can do is we have a bigger inventory. The guys know the inventory. And this will allow us to say, all right, going into the first however many games, we like this. Let's hold off on this, but have this ready down the road. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't think, even though we kind of believe we have a good foundation of where we are schematically, I still think we're going to need to evolve as we go because people are going to figure us out. Things are going to change around the league of what offenses are trying to do. And we're a different team this year, so we're gonna have to continue to evolve. But where we are at the start compared to where we were last year is totally different, and I'm excited to see where we can go with this.
I know it's July 30th, so there's a lot of time here, but most of the defense has been Evan and Xavier at safety with Bull in the slot. Is that kind of how you're inclined to line up with that?
Well, we'll see. I mean, Bull's lining up and playing safety too. I think, to me, it's you go into training camp and it's, you know, what positions are we competing for, right? At the safety position, we've got a couple guys who've played, and we've got some pretty good safeties. And then ultimately it comes down to who are the best 11 and how can we get them on the field at the same time. And I think you guys have heard it from me multiple times. I think that's our job. So if Evan, Bull, and X, we feel are three of the best players, we need to figure out how to get them on the field on all down distances, on early downs, on third down. If we feel like there's someone else that deserves to have a package, we got to try to figure that out too. So whether we come out in base defense and Evan's a safety with X or Bull's a safety with X or, you know, whoever wins that job, I mean, that's why we practice. That's why we go into these preseason games. You want guys competing. I think good teams have competition. You want guys pushing each other. Like if I'm Javon Bullard, I'm proving to everybody right now, you're not taking me off the field. Like it's not happening. I'm playing every down. And if I'm Evan Williams, I hope he's saying the same thing. And I hope Zane Anderson's right behind them saying I'm doing the same thing, because then what happens is guys push each other and we get better. And I think that's our job as coaches. Like we want guys to compete to get better and not just think they've arrived, or you're not going to improve. So we'll find out. I mean, it's early. When we line up week one, our job as coaches and my job as the coordinator is to figure out how to get our best 11 guys who deserve to play on the field. And to me, who's going to play the hardest, right? And who's going to attack the football, and who are we going to be able to trust that they know what they're doing?
When the idea conversation came up about moving Bo to cornerback, what were your initial thoughts, and then what's that onboarding process been like, getting him acclimated to a different side of the ball?
Yeah, we talked about it in the spring a little bit, and we kind of put him through some individual and some practices. And I was excited. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bo. Just, I'm sure anyone who's been around him, you know the type of guy he is, you know how hard he works, he's super athletic. And then you kind of saw him do some DB drills, and as he backpedaled, you saw how quick his feet were and he could transition. And then you see him get in there and he's got some reactionary skills. So when Matt brought it up again, I said I'd love to try it. And at the same time, let's take a step back, and this isn't going to be like we put him in and it's, oh, he's got it. No, it's a hard position to play. And people might think you're just out there, go cover a guy. I mean, it's one of the hardest positions physically to play. And there is thinking to it too. It's not as easy as some people think. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that this is going to be a process with Bo. And I said to Bo, look, man, you might get spun around in the first two practices. You might line up, and I mean, it's going to be different for you, but I don't want you to get frustrated. We're not going to get frustrated with you. I mean, we understand this is going to take time, but we believe in it, and we believe in him, and we believe he can do it. And again, that's our job as coaches, is to develop players, right? Whether it's a young player or a new player to play a different position. And I think DA's done a really good job, but I credit Bo. I don't think there are many guys in this league who are just going to be, hey, what do you think about doing this? And yeah, I'll do it, whatever's best for the team. How many guys nowadays are going to do that? I don't think there's many of them. So chances are the guy's going to succeed. And I believe in him, and I'm excited to see where this can go. But at the same time, I think everybody's got to kind of just, all right, let's slow down. Everything's not going to look perfect. But I was fired up. I love the guy. You win with guys like Bo.
Jeff, we've heard Brenton Cox pop the pads pretty loud these last couple of days. What do you like about what you've seen from him?
Kind of what I saw when we decided to play him. I remember sitting here, and we thought he deserved to play after he was really hard to block at practice. It's just the way he is out there. He's a physical, strong, tough guy who gives you everything that he has, and he's very disruptive. And again, we need to develop those players, right, and push them to become better. And I think DeMarcus and VO and Wendell are doing a really good job of that right now.
Hey, Jeff. I think it was Evan Williams, a couple of guys have talked about sort of the emphasis with like forced fumbles, punch outs. Kind of what's been your message with that, obviously? And I mean, you guys were pretty proficient at it last year, but kind of taking that next step now.
Yeah, we took the ball away last year. we didn't force enough fumbles, and that's not good enough. So the emphasis coming in is, one, our play style, how hard we're going to play, how physical we're going to play, how we run to the ball. That's non-negotiable. The other is we're going to attack the football. So we need to emphasize it more. We need to coach it better. We need to put it out there on tape. And in doing so, hopefully our offense will, we'll train them too. So it's a whole team thing. But that's been the number one emphasis this training camp is over everything is, one, play style. Two, we have to force more fumbles. And that's charted, that's talked about, and you can see the buy-in of the players. Again, we could, as coaches, let's be real, we could talk about anything, and you can emphasize stuff, but they have to buy in, and they have. And whoever's out at practice, I mean, you're seeing some haymakers being thrown at the ball right now, and it can't just be from one guy, it has to be from everybody. And I appreciate the buy-in of the players, but we want to lead the league in forced fumbles. We are going to have to work at it, and that's very important to us.
So is naming one of your QC coaches the Ball King new then, or was that last year?
Where did you find out about the Ball
The
King?
head coach told us.
All right, then that's fair game. I mean, I didn't know that the Ball King was out there. Yeah, so I had the idea before training camp. I wanted to find a way to emphasize it, and there's different ways that I've done it in the past. And I grabbed Wendell and I said, hey, I got some ideas, but I want you to run with this. And, we devised a plan every day to have him get up there, and we chart different things, and we have fun with it, and we have teams, and it's creative. And we decided to call him the Ball King. So they're not allowed to call him Wendell Davis anymore. He's the Ball King. So if you see him, please refer to him as BK or Ball King. But here's what, and we were kind of talking about this yesterday as a staff, he gets up there and he does an unbelievable job, and the guys have fun with it, right? And there's a lot of time in training camp where I think, we're on the guys hard constantly, and we're in the meeting rooms, and we're watching film, and we're demanding, and we're locked in, but then there needs to be all right, catch your breath, let's all have fun together. And he brings that out a lot, and he's doing a really good job, but at the same time, there's an emphasis and there's a seriousness. And the cool part about our guys is they're able to have fun with it, and I think it's bringing them together, but they're buying into it. And you can see that when we go out there and practice. So he's done an unbelievable job, and as fun as it is, it's serious. And, I think if we can continue to do that, I do believe it's going to show up when we start playing. So I'm really proud of Wendell, or Ball King, and I think it's really helped him too. He's become a really good football coach, and that's what you want as a coordinator. You want your position coaches to go on and become coordinators. You want your QCs to come on and become position coaches, and I think he's putting himself, on that path, and that's also part of our job.
Jeff, what have been your early observations on Nate Hobbs, and has he brought just that physicality, intensity that you all were expecting?
Yeah, I love him. He's physical. He brings a toughness. He brings an edge. He brings a level of competitiveness. He's strong. He can get his hands on people. He can play inside. He can play outside. And I just love the way the guy competes. And I love how physical and tough-minded he is. And that's how we have to play the game. And he fits that. And I'm really glad he's here.
How unique is him at the line?
Sorry?
How unique is Nate Hobbs, at the line of scrimmage jamming guys?
How unique?
Yeah, for him, for what you want from all your corners.
Strong.
Yeah.
He's got strong hands. He's got a strong lower body. When he gets his hands on you, he makes you stop and start. That's important. We play some good slots in this league. We play some really good receivers, right? So if we're going to want to do that, he gives us a chance to do it.
Emphasis on forced fumbles. Evan Williams said the number that you guys have been talking about is 43.
Jeez, these guys are giving away all our secrets.
Is 42 the confirmed number of forced fumbles, done by a team in a single season? We're trying to verify that.
I think it's 43 takeaways. I mean, I'd have to look at the forced fumbles again. But these guys can't be giving out all of our secrets either. Look, the emphasis is to lead the league, whatever number that is. We need to lead the league in takeaways, and it can't just be interceptions. We didn't do a good enough job last year forcing fumbles. I mean, that's why we're emphasizing it. So if 43 is a number, then we'll go after 43 and do our best to get there. So, Yeah, go ahead.
I want to understand the ball king presentation. He gets up there every day, Matt said, right? So
Yes.
are you showing clips of guys doing it right? What is the presentation since Matt gave it away?
All right, we'll go into the Ball King presentation. This might take a little bit, but that's okay. Today's a player's off day. So I start off every unit meeting like this, right? And I usually go over a bunch of clips, good, bad, what I like, what I didn't like. I try to correct stuff, I install, but I let him start the meeting because the ball is the most important thing. All right, we've picked teams. He puts the charts up there. He shows the teams. So we'll tally stuff. I don't want to give away all the secrets, but we'll tally stuff that happens. You get minuses, right? So we hold him accountable, and we like have a game within the game. So he gets up there and he'll show the point system. He's got a unique siren now built into the ceiling that every time we get a turnover, he hits a button and the siren blares, right? So we want to sound the siren as much as we can. But then he has fun with it. You know, he'll show some video clips, some fun videos, but it always comes back to different ways to teach how to attack the football, how are we going to respond when we get an interception, the ball's on the ground, how we're going to scoop it. He'll call guys out who were in position to take a punch and they didn't. He'll call guys out who we don't think took a real punch, took a not very aggressive punch. But it's stuff that the guys are having fun with, but they're starting to swing and they're starting to run out of the stacks. And that's what I'm most proud of right now. It's the effort that the guys have. But, you know, like I said, he's done a good job of emphasizing that to start. We got an award we give out each week for it, which every team around the league is going to do it. I just think he's taking it to another step. So, you guys got it?
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.